We've got the Prince of Imperial with
Prince of Imperial.
his jester.
Okay. So today I'm with Kabir. You might have seen him on TikTok before, and today we're going to be discussing life at Imperial, the application process, content creation, and his future plans. Kabir studies bio at Imperial.
Yeah.
I'll hand it over to him to introduce himself.
Cool. Hey guys, my name's Kabir. Go by Kabir Study on TikTok. Study biological sciences, and I also took a gap year. If any of you guys have questions about that, or should we just get straight into it?
Yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay, firstly, so you know what? I'm gonna ask you about your gap year first.
Yeah.
So, what was your motivation behind the gap year?
Yeah.
And what did you do? And do you think it was worth it?
Yeah. So, I had some pretty unfortunate circumstances, which is pretty much the only reason why Imperial considered me. So they came under mitigating circumstances, and that means I had to resit my A-levels, and I chose to resit my A-levels without the help of my school, basically. So I did it totally alone, and it led to a lot of unique experiences, and I think a lot of my self-motivation came from it. I would say that my motivation was I had to resit, and I was gonna end up going to KCL if I didn't resit for like a random degree, but like I just didn't want to go to KCL. It's a good uni. I have a lot of friends who go there. It's a great uni, but I wanted to go to Imperial, so I thought it'd be worth taking a year out. What was the rest of the question?
It was like, do you think it was worth it? And do you think, what did you do?
Definitely. I mean, the second ranked uni in the world is 100%
You can't miss that.
Yeah, you can't be mad about that.
Yeah.
So what I did was I would work as a waiter in like a Holiday Inn, which is low-key arse. It was so arse cheeks, but it was good. It was a good experience and a good deterrent for me, like not working hard. And then I was just studying, and that's when I started making videos. It was like a time lapse of like me studying and put like some motivational quotes, like whatever. And then I don't know, for some reason during that gap year, I just started speaking to the camera.
Right.
I think that was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made.
I think so.
Yeah, because I was like a fat chard. And I thought everyone would cyberbully me, but then like I didn't think I got one negative comment for a long ass time. And so it really helped me with my camera confidence.
Right.
Which is, in my opinion, is like the most important thing you can have nowadays.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. Why did you decide to make videos?
Check. Why did I decided to make videos because I think to be able to stand out nowadays, especially with AI, I think you need a personal brand. And lots of people talk about personal brand, but I feel like the opportunities and the doors you open is so much more when you make content. Just even for example, with my startup is AI. Like Henry Lee and James, the way I met them was through LinkedIn. I didn't know them before, and so many more opportunities have come my way just because my content has got in front of the eyes of other people. Obviously, I'm not like super famous right now, but even getting the right people to see your content, that's so important nowadays. And we talk about automation and AI nowadays. If AI can do your job, then the only way you can really stand out is if you have a personal brand around, I guess, you, and people know who you are. And AI can't replicate that. That's something really personal that only you can have. And I think I'm kind of just future-proofing myself and also trying to improve distribution for any product I want to sell in the future. That's my main motivation. And over to you again. It's quite a standard interview question. Why biosciences?
Yeah, so, I will go back to what you, he said some interesting stuff, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, cool.
But we'll do the questions first, because this is his show.
Nice.
You should name the show as well, that'd be funny.
Should I?
Yeah.
The Prince of Imperial.
The Prince and his court. Prince holds court or something like that, yeah. But why bio? I would say bio is the most varied course you can have at this uni, because it is, the way they teach it here is essentially the application of all the natural sciences. So what that means is that you do a lot of maths, you do a lot of chemistry, you do physics, we're doing like a lot of computational work now. And you use them as tools to understand one fundamental question, which is, what does it mean to be alive? And then the way that biologists break it down is just through the different streams. So you've got ecology, you've got molecular biology, you've got all these different ways that you can understand what it means to be alive and how life interacts with one another. So essentially, you're just using science as a tool to try to figure things out, like why are we here? And I don't really plan on going into wet labs, which is like the bacteria. For example, like the bacterial agar plates, or field work where you go to like the Galapagos. I'm not like that. I would do want to go into machine learning, computational work, a lot of the mathsy stuff. I think what's going to set me apart is the infused domain knowledge of biology. The fact that I can take neuroscientific concepts and then apply it to different algorithms, or just apply it in general with the technical knowledge that I'm going to be learning, will be something that I think is super important. And you talk about future proofing, that is what future proofing is. It's if you do a bio degree and just be like, oh yeah, I can recall 64 different taxa, which is something we had to do. We'll get into that later. Yuck. That's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
And they know it now, because the whole summer term at Imperial, if you do biology, you're not learning any biological stuff. You're not doing, oh, this is what the brain is. No, you're literally doing stats, maths. You're learning a programming language called R. You do Python, you do bioinformatics. The stuff that is the future of biology, really. So, yeah.
So you think the course prepares you for the technical side? Well, do you think, or do you think a lot of the work is from doing the independent stuff?
Technical side in terms of
just like the computational work, yeah.
It gives you the baseline.
Okay.
But as with anything at Imperial, I would say that it's very independent in the sense that they tell you your responsibility, they tell you how much you should be studying, what your exams are worth, and if you choose not to study, it's on you. Like, if you choose that, actually fuck this, I don't want to do Python. Okay, you're not going to do Python, and that's on you. Like, you're going to fail your exams, right?
Oh,
that's what kind of sets Imperial apart, in the sense that, like Oxbridge is like supervision, like they check whether you know it or not. They don't care if you know it or not. Like, it's ultimately up to you. Like, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And honestly, like, I don't really know much about your course. So for someone like me who doesn't know much about the course, how would you describe it?
I would say that it is like a 15-plate tasting dinner, especially first year. You do so many different things. So you do there are five modules that provide credit. So there are 60 credits as a part of your first year, 5 modules. 2 of them are worth 15, 3 of them are worth 10 credits. So there's that. Then you do, let's see if I can remember, biochem, ecology, evolution, and cell bio. Those are the 4 like biological stuff, and then there's core skills, which has communication, stats, maths, blah blah. All of that stuff, there's so many different things that you have. So you go from, for example, bacterial reproduction, how that all works, genetics, island biogeography, conservation economics. These are so different, but they're so important to just have in your mind and be able to speak about it. If you just apply this to the commercial world, for example, the idea of having a commercial awareness. Lawyers talk about this, bankers, they talk about this all the time. Just knowing about what's going on, I think that's similar to bio, but applied purely to biological concepts. Is that like clear?
Yeah, that's clear. Thank you so much. And one more boring question. What was the application process like for the course?
Man, it is embarrassingly easy. No, in a bad way.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me. The course conveners, they see this, right? But like, they've uploaded.
You really had this Imperial.
No, I don't mean it was easy. Definitely wasn't easy to get in. I'm just saying, like, compared to like, the computing law or the engineering law where you have to do an entrance exam and interview, we didn't have to do any of that. It was very much more like the LSE, where they look at your grades, they look at your A-levels, your GCSEs, and your personal statement. And if you didn't have a good personal statement, that's going to cause you trouble. So a lot of my personal, one tip, so one thing that would be very valuable for a bio applicant is to talk about what you're doing with bio and talk about synthesis, really. Like, my first line was talking about how genetic code and computer programming have symmetries between them. That's something that's quite interesting, and a biologist would want to know about that. So there's that. But this year, for any biologist, you have to do the ESAT. I think they want to make it a bit more hard to get in this year, which is good because it's less of a Mickey Mouse degree. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, now let's move on to first year Imperial. Obviously, first year is quite of a joke for a lot of people. Yeah. But what would you describe a normal week just doing your course and
Yeah.
then
Depends on exam season, non-exam season. First term, low-key, I was lost in the sauce. I won't describe how,
same,
because
bro.
my parents will beat me, but like I was doing so much that I shouldn't do, and it just led to my January exams. I had to lock in so hard just to like decently on them. Like I can show you a picture, you can pop it onto the screen. Like literally, it was like 5 energy drinks, 5 coffees, and I literally worked from like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. on the day of my exams. And you know, I see a lot of students who do that, but that was first time was not a good representation, and I certainly learned my lesson because of the caliber of people at this uni. Because they're just like, oh yeah, I'm doing a molecular genetics internship, but you were literally partying with me the other day. Like, how did you get that? And I realized, oh okay, I'm locked out right now. So second term is when I really like put things down, locked in, got an internship, did things that I knew I had to do in order to live the life that I wanted to, and I did better in my exams. Well, I think I did, at least, hopefully, please. In terms of so the question was, how much work do you have to do? Well, I mean, it's Imperial, you're going to do like loads of work. No matter the course you do, I'd say what sets bio apart is that it's not very, there are aspects that are very difficult, but also like, it's just what makes the course hard is just a lot. It's just a lot, like there are going to be some weeks where you just have to like sit in the library and just go through the content. Whereas I think a lot of other courses, it's a lot more conceptual, so they have to sit with the content. So other courses have to sit with the content, whereas biologists have to sit and do lots of content. Does that make sense? Like a lot of flashcards, like a lot of recall. It's very much stereotypical biology, like just lots to do. Anything else? Normal week look like? There is no normal weeks, because there are some weeks where I was a chud and did nothing, and some weeks where I'd like leave the library at like 10 p.m. every day just to like do the work,
There's actually quite a lot of interesting stuff I want to pick out from your answer there. First thing you mentioned, someone who goes partying with you, and the next day they've got an internship.
Yeah.
And how do you think people do that? And do you have like an explanation as to how that happens? And also, secondly, you mentioned you have an internship. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
So, the reason why people listen to this, guys, the reason why your friends are all going to Amazon or the startup, or they're getting flown out to San Francisco and Paris, is because they're liars. They are lying to you guys. Literally, like, they're like, oh, I've done no work. No. They do the work and then they reward themselves. They have the delayed gratification. If you're someone who does no work and you're hanging around with people, for example, there's a set of lads in bio, they're very high agency individuals, they're very intelligent. They go out and they have their fun, but then they're getting the internships there. They're very on it with their lives, so it's a good balance. It's certainly something that you will have to acclimatize to at Imperial. Like at least I don't really meet many chuds, I'm just going to say that there aren't many chuds out there, and if there are, like, I don't know them. So I'd say always keep your eyes open for opportunities, especially on Instagram. Instagram's a very underrated tool nowadays. Always keep your eyes open, say no to nothing, and just, like, it sounds unhealthy, but you don't compare, I compare myself to other people, but also just like, know that people are gonna outwork you if you decide to just lay in your bed all day. And like,
everyone's on a different path, right?
Yeah, they are on a different path. So if you do want to lay in your bed all day, I'm not judging you. Like I am, but yeah, you talked about my internship. That's why I'm wearing a t-shirt and that, because not a t-shirt, it's a shirt.
Very well dressed.
I'm going to the London Tech Week because the founders of they're called W Park.
Yeah.
They essentially are helping autonomous vehicles basically do better service, and they're working in like industry and logistics to optimize shipping. It sounds boring, but it's very, very interesting because it plays into geopolitics and all of that. And I'm going to speak to them today, and maybe something will come of it, please. But we'll see. It'll be just interesting to go and experience that industry. Yeah.
One last question about your internship. How did you come about this opportunity? Was it you actively putting yourself out there, or did they reach out to you?
No. So basically, this company like advertised it, and then I just kind of got it through them.
Right.
It was like through a company as well, kind of like how LinkedIn works, but just more like student based. Got very, I wouldn't say lucky, but I was very lucky to see the opportunity. The founders are very high agency, you know, they're Imperial alumni, Oxbridge alumni, and they're very just like, so they're Cambridge based. I'm like, these guys are backed by like big names. I'm not gonna say, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say, but they're backed by like the biggest names now, and like, you know, states of like, you know, they're backed by the government now. And like, it's very, very interesting to see how geopolitics is affecting them as well.
Right. Now, what surprised you most about Imperial, if anything, that once you started?
I think this. Okay, so there was two questions I just want to tie this into.
Yeah,
so
cool.
it is a social life, right?
Yeah.
Everyone says the social life at Imperial is bad. So if the social life is bad for you, it's because you don't have good social skills. That sounds so horrible. And like,
That's so. I agree with that. Fully, yeah.
People are like, oh, Imperial is just so bad. No. There are people at Imperial who go and get lit every day.
Every day, bro.
Every day they're just getting fucked up, man. But they still do well. But like, I always say it's the people, never the place, right? Like, yeah, sometimes there are some weird guys at Imperial, bro. I walked into the toilet one time and like some guy was playing like really loud anime. It was like some like schoolgirl voice. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you know? But, you know, obviously I have a very good set of friends, a very mixed group. It's not like a bunch of like lads, like sausage party, like very mixed group of friends. I have multiple different groups, and that's because I just put myself out there. And also you do what you want other people to do for you. Like, see someone at a party and they're not really being able to interact, you know, ask them who they are, introduce them, compliment them, introduce them to a group, you know. It doesn't pay to be good, but it's good to be good, right? And then it's about being uncomfortable and then allowing that to like grow you into someone who's more social. I think social skills nowadays, kind of similar to how you said, having a personal brand is important, right? Just being someone who other people want to talk to is not going to be very useful. There are some people just across multiple courses who are just universally disliked. That's like the worst position you could be. I feel bad for them as opposed to just dislike them, because it's more of like a disability in terms of like, wow, so you got such bad social skills that you're known for being disliked. It's a shame when I hear people just like slag them off, basically. But Imperial's not bad social life. The nightlife, on the other hand, low key, the location of South Kensington is very much an inhibitor. I know this person who
North Acton particularly.
North Acton is, to be fair, but low-key, Woodward is live.
Woodward and KP, they're live. There's always stuff going on.
There's always stuff going on. But you know, my friends who go KCL, they live in a great something street, great
Portland,
daughters.
I don't.
Great GDSA. They live in the GDSA. They're a 10-minute walk from Ministry.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
is LSE Bankside.
Yeah, it's just like
Shout out Bankside, bro.
Yeah. Sorry. I gotta quit smoking. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I think Loki is kind of, I feel like they did it on purpose for some reason. Maybe they looked to the future and they knew that Ministry would be like far away.
I don't know if that was a good thing though. I feel like being in Imperial and then guessing to go to KC on Bankside, like you get the best of both kind of social life.
And you do the Imperial lanyard method, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just wear it around LSE KC, so it happens.
Yeah, I think I love South Kensington. You know, there's whenever there's a heat wave, I always go to the Kensington Gardens, and like you could save money because you can take a car to Kensington Gardens. You know, it's like, oh yeah, let's not go to a restaurant, let's just sit in the gardens and have ice cream. You know, I mean, I'm not saying
that's a method.
Yeah, it's a key method. But yeah, it's very nice, and you're surrounded by lots of important people. It makes me feel like I'm important. It boosts my ego, even though I'm just a fucking loser. Like, you know, you walk past the Bangladeshi embassy, the Sultan of Oman, like Jamaican, like it's pretty cool. And then sometimes you see like the police, like the motorcades, and you're just like, wow, you know.
See some pretty cool cars as well.
Yeah, and they just
It's a rich place.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. You know, it's very, and I also just feel very safe. You know, I walked around KCL sometimes, like, bro, why are you chasing me? Like, leave me alone, right? Leave me alone. Whereas I'll leave the library at like, you know, 12 a.m. and I'll just walk and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Right, cool. That was a good answer. Next question. How do you find the teaching quality and I guess the learning experience at Imperial?
Interesting. Teaching quality, I wouldn't really know because I barely go to lectures.
There's neither do I.
No, I'm joking. Like when I make an appearance, guest appearance in the lecture, it's always very good and they're very on it.
Yeah.
Like so, my course convener is called Steve Cook. Very good at his job. It's just a fantastic educator in general. Like very on it for applying to emails. And bear in mind, like he's probably responsible for like 400 students.
Right.
And just the fact that he's so quick with everything is very useful. And you know, they take the time. They take their time to answer your questions and get back to you. Because biology is so conceptual sometimes, like in terms of there's just so much. So they might not know the answers straight away if it's a very like technical question, but they will get back to you for sure. And they want you to do well, but they won't like let you slack off. Yeah, that's one thing. Like they can be quite harsh, but overall, I'd say you know it's excellent quality teaching, plus the opportunities you get. So like. It's just so much opportunity here, especially with bio. Like a lot of if you do bio, you're going to be studying in the Sir Alexander Fleming building, which is important because they have the National like Institute of like Lung Science and Heart Science. It's like it's very cool. You get to be just in and amongst those people. You know, Europe, which is like research opportunities. They're all around, which is going to be very good and useful for you if you need. Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. And I'm going to ask you a bit more about the course.
Yeah, of course.
Are there any modules or topics that you found most interesting, boring, like you just wish you didn't do?
Yeah, I think it's the nature of biology. Like, if you find I've not met one person who finds all of biology interesting. Because, like, that's crazy. Like, you find every single.
There's no one who fully likes
Yeah.
the course. Like, there's you can't find a person.
I think I've probably met one dude and he lives and breathes the subject. And he's gonna go so far. His name is Gio. Like, he's
Shout out
Gio, bro. Like, that guy is so smart.
Yeah.
And he's lucky Mocha, bro. Like, oh my god. Fucking hell, man. But
the real Prince of Imperial, bro.
he might be Prince of the South, bro.
Prince of the South,
yeah. What was it? I don't particularly enjoy ecology. I just don't like it that much. Or evolution, like I just didn't care. I'll still do it, and I think it's a skill to do things that you don't want to do.
Right.
It's like being an adult. Like I don't want to do my taxes, but you still do it. It's more about just picking the grunt work. And again, it's about having infused domain knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to know about these things, and you know you will have to work with that knowledge one day.
Of course.
But I'm more interested in human biosystems. My big thing is neuroscience. I'll be doing a lot of that next year. Yeah, to be honest. So I guess my favorite aspect was cell bio or biochem a little bit as well. I just enjoy that technical side, you know.
Juicy question. Do you have any regrets about coming to Imperial?
Regrets. See, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
Regrets? No, I can't think of a regret. Imperial, I'll tell you why, right? Imperial is very financially generous. Like, they make loads of money and they distribute that shit. Like, the bursary I get is very nice. The opportunities you get are very good. Yeah, I can't think of any regrets. Like, honestly,
No, that's good to hear.
I'm genuinely trying to find one. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just glazing too hard. I need to get off Imperial's dick, but like, you know, like, I'm just trying to find one.
I just loves it too much.
I just love it so much. I genuinely think it's like by far the best uni in London.
Yeah.
But low-key, what's his name? There's this guy who said Imperial and LSE should merge.
Oh wait, is Zachary? Is it Zachary?
No.
There was another guy, something.
J something. I forgot.
I remember seeing it. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
I was like, low-key, that could be a move. You know?
That would be pretty cool.
That would be a move. But we put Imperial LSE, not LSE. But yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that was my question. Cool. Now we're to the part of the interview I'm most interested in. What do you kind of hope to do with your degree?
So, I'm not sure. I do know that I want to get a job, so that's good. Shout out mom and dad.
Big up employment.
Yeah, big up employment, big up kiss stuff. I'm pissed off. I think with my degree, I want to just, by the end of my degree, I want to have lots of options. So that's the main goal, is to have a lot of options to work in multiple different fields. So if I want to go into research, I want to be able to do that. I doubt I will go into biological research. It's interesting, but I just want better compensation. That's just the reality. Like, I know it's a bad thing to say. Like, I'll make a bit more money than that, and I want to do something that, you know, requires, you know, commercial strategy. I enjoy commercial strategy. Like working, like, for example, I was working with W Park, seeing how they could go to the market and deploy, seeing how we can overcome their operational challenges. That is what really, you know, gets me going. You know, so that's something I'd want to do. Other than that, you know, I've had like opportunity, like for example, the brand name of Imperial, it's big, and it got me this opportunity where I was just teaching 9 to 5 during the half term for the like 1-to-1.
Wait, like Easter?
Yeah,
Crazy.
9 to 5, like for 2 weeks straight. Big money was put in the bank account for that one, and it was just like he said, "Oh yeah, 45 people applied, but you go to Imperial, so I'm just gonna give you the job." Like that was his opening line.
Listen to this, guys. Imperial open doors.
Yeah, man. Honestly, that's why I really like uni.
Yeah,
got me a job.
Come on.
But I just want to have options. I think that's the best way to answer the question.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I want to do into this field of research, I want to do this, and this. I just want to be able to do. I just want to be able to work hard at something that I enjoy, preferably project based. Banking and law. Like I thought I'd go to Imperial and do law. You know, that's what people don't talk about. That you could do law. Like
I remember on the first chat you said that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
But I just don't enjoy it, and I want to do more projects and problem solving. That's what I'm good at. You know, I remember going to this one EY Parthenon workshop, and this was like after was it Halloween, or it was I think it was after Halloween, the day after Halloween. I woke up in like some random place and then just like made my way in, and then I was just like yo, and I didn't say yo to them obviously. Imagine that. I was like everyone else was like a third year like mech eng, and I was like this first year biochard. And I was like, I'm in first year, you guys don't have any first year things. What can I do to stand out and better myself for an application for next year's cycle? And they just said do something.
For the internship?
Yeah, because they don't have like a lot of consulting things. There's only like McKinsey that do their first year thing. Yeah. Or like there's only a couple, but like most of the ones that come out second year, like LEC do second year. I think TPP's, I'm not sure if you heard of them. They're like health tech.
Right. Okay.
It's most of it's just second year stuff. So you just need to like build your first year of like your own projects.
Right. Okay.
I think that's one thing about you have to do at Imperial is just take advantage of things, bro. Like going out is fun. I'm really sorry, going out is fun. You're gonna want to just build community, like, and do that stuff. But take the time to really build a portfolio, because that is. Having a portfolio in your background is like having like £10,000 in your bag. You just feel safer because you have things to talk about at the interview. You have things to put on your CV. You know, that it's evidence that you are who you say you are, as opposed to like, you know, just saying things.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that everything?
Yeah, that is everything. That's splendid. Cheers. Okay, let's talk content. You've posted a fair bit in the past. Yeah. What's your motivation behind content creation? I know I touched upon it earlier, but what's your motivation?
So. It started off just like I'll just post my opinions. So my first couple videos, or like first set of videos, like I call them like eras, kind of. It's more like seasons, right? It was the time lapse of me studying for like 6 hours.
I saw that.
And then and then it was like, you know, I think my first like video that did well was like, oh yeah, bro, go start that dropshipping business, or because that's definitely gonna make you famous, man. Like, oh, like it's gonna make you rich if you start selling that AliExpress shit, like, and like it could, but like my whole point was that. You know, we've got a generation of young men who've abandoned their education because they think they can get rich if they all do the same thing. It's not how it works, right? And I guess I just got into like, my niche then was like, kind of going against the culture of being a sunflower as opposed to an oak tree, in the sense that people wanted everything very quickly like this, whereas you want to be stable. That's why I say sunflowers, they grow really quickly, but one hit they fall down. Whereas an oak tree takes 30 years.
Right, okay.
That's going to be there for the next couple centuries.
That's cool analogy.
Yeah. And then I kind of pivoted into A-level GCSE tips and like, you know, the typical, like, this is how you do well at GCSE bio, blah, blah, blah. And that was probably the most financially beneficial time. Shout out Turbo Learn.
Our competitors, by the way.
No, fuck Turbo Learn.
Fuck you.
But he was like, that was very, very good when it came to like the money. I was like, wow, this is something that I have to keep doing.
Yeah.
But I did lose a love for a game for a while because it was just like, it took all those sponsorships. They just like took a lot of time and energy. It's exhausting to do that shit. And like, that's the reason why I don't work with AI companies anymore. Apart from AStar AI.
Yeah. Shout out AStar AI.
Shout out Palantir. Shout out AStar AI. Shout out. I'm not gonna say the other one. Yeah. Because it was just like, oh yeah, we want you to like talk about how. Like one company reached out and they said, we want you to tell your audience that you got an internship at Goldman Sachs and you used our AI. I was like, fuck off. I actually didn't work with them. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like,
fair.
That's so
totally
detrimental to your brand. Like, oh yeah, hey guys, I got into fucking Goldman Sachs, bro. I got into Renaissance technology using your shitty AI, bro. Like, no one's gonna believe that shit. I hate biology, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but then I moved more into what I enjoy, which is like biochemistry, neuroscience, pharmaceuticals, explaining things in making it more enjoyable, right? Because that was like a skill that I wanted to practice, how to be engaging with. Like, you see those TikToks and they're just like, they talk about what they do and everyone just loves it because it's engaging. That's a skill and I wanted to build on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it came to a head when one of my videos just got under 1 million views. It was about the salvia, so it's like a drug.
I've seen that, yeah.
And I was like trying to it was like a funny video, but I was also like explaining it.
Yeah.
And then now over the summer the plan is to do, there's this guy who does bio at Cornell and he's broken into like neurotech startups and he has he gave like a plan, what he did to like do that. So the plan is to do a lot of the courses from free blue one brown. I think that's a YouTube channel. So it's like maths, learning like a lot of that from the ground up. So maths, Python, like going through all of the stuff. The Harvard CS50, Cornell has good notes, and I'll just document my progress and like how I learn things from there. And then we'll see where it goes from there. I'm not too bothered about views anymore, I'll be honest. I did have a question for you. You said you have a personal brand. What do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered? And what do you want your personal brand to stand for?
Yes, I most definitely want to be remembered. I think my motivation is to build a really successful company in the next 5-ish years. And I think my socials is about documenting that progress. A lot of people might have not seen this, but on YouTube, in the comment section, I actually tracked my progress for 600 days straight. And it stopped since I came to uni. We definitely have to start that again. But since I was 16, I was adamant that I was going to build a really successful company. And everything I do on socials is kind of to document that progress and kind of amplify the effect I have on the companies I build. What was the other question?
So the first one was like, what do you want to be remembered for?
Yeah.
Do you want to be remembered?
What do I stand?
What do you want your personal brand to stand for?
Yeah, okay, cool. I kind of want to stand my personal brand as someone who overcame a lot of obstacles, and like personally, when I was 14, like I was basically a child. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna say like I'm super good right now, but it's just like it's a journey, right? And I brought myself up like from ground up. I was skinny as fuck. I went to the gym, started working on my studies, did well, got into Imperial, started my business, got spring weeks. Like it's been a journey, and I'm always constantly aiming for more. I want to be remembered as a guy who inspires other people who've been in similar positions to me and develop their identity as someone who, when they get to their like the end of their life, I don't want to sound cringe, but like when you're on your gravestone, you don't want to think back on your life and just be like, I could have done so much more. Like I had so much potential, but I didn't reach it. I just don't want to get to that stage where I just wish I'd done more. So everything I do, I just want to make sure that I live my life to the fullest, and I do everything I can to make sure that when I'm older, I'm just happy of the work I put in when I was younger. So that's my answer.
Yeah, you know what, guys? Literally, I always talk about like people be like, oh, what's it like going to Imperial? Like I'll go to like a KCL student and they'll be like, oh my god, you go to Imperial? Like, oh my god. I'm joking. They're gonna get mad at me. They're gonna put me like an edit when they say this at me, bro. Like, but like I literally always name drop. Oh yeah, there's this guy called Danude. He gets flying out to San Francisco, Paris, and he's back again. Like, it's so crazy. Like you're like the literally the prince of Imperial, like, in that sense. And it's just interesting to be around like really high agency individuals. Yeah. Wait, did you have a question? Or?
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah. Okay. Firstly, like your answer was really good. My question was that analogy about the sunflower and oak tree. That was really cool. So what I wanted to ask is, do you think, so a lot of people want to make internet money nowadays without going to university. They want to drop out. They want to start something online. Do you think that going to a top university and studying a course that you can specialize in, do you think that's what sets people apart now and helps you make that internet money, I guess, in a sense?
It depends on what you want to do. If you think that you're gonna make a load of money from dropshipping, like you can probably. There are people who do it, but like I just feel like that's not the way to do it nowadays. Especially if you're trying to have impact. I think Gen Z can be very different because they want to make loads of money, but they also want to like do things that impact people, right? And ultimately, like you go to uni and you're making money, right? And you just need to understand that if you are like, I feel like young women have this already, and I really shout them out for it. Like they're very grounded, whereas a lot of young men, they want everything right now, and they just want to go, and that is just dopamine masturbating. You're just wanking, bro. That's just dopamine, you know. Like give me the Ferrari and the girls. You know, it's just shit. Like that's not how it works. You know, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the reps. You know, you're not going to be able to bench 2 plates straight away. You're not going to have the physique straight away. So what makes you think you're going to have the money straight away?
Yeah.
You know. People who say that you're gonna make money in 30 days, they're selling you something. They might not sell you a course. You know, they'll be like, oh, I'm not even trying to sell you a course, bro. They said they want to be famous. That's why they're doing it, right? So, is it worth going to uni for the sake of going to uni? No. But the idea that, oh, you have to go to top uni or you're cooked is just lies. You have to be a high agency individual who's willing to work really hard. That's all it is, right? Like, ultimately, there's a reason why America supersedes the UK when it comes to success and money. It's because even when I was doing medical work experience, the American doctor was like, in the USA, they care about what you bring to the table instead of what table you come from, right?
Right,
whereas
that's a good quote.
London is prestige, merchant, strength, central. It's like, do you go to Imperial or LSE? Like that's or Oxbridge, like there's a lot of that like dick measuring in that sense, you know? Whereas the reason why the USA does well is what can you do, you know? So even if you don't go to a top, even if you go to a uni that's like people make fun of, like fuck the people who make fun of you. Like even though like I take the piss out of like other unis as a joke, bear in mind I take the piss out of Imperial so much as well. If you go to a no-name uni, it's what you do with your time, how you use it. If you go to a no-name uni and then drink and do fuck all the entire time, you can't blame your uni, bro. Like same at Imperial, if I just drank and smoked and did fuck all the entire time, I can't blame, oh yeah, uni sucks, bro, I should have done a degree apprenticeship. Because guess what, like, so many people drop out of degree apprenticeships because they're so hard. The question is, nowadays, is if you are an elite student, should you do a degree apprenticeship, should you go to uni, or should you pursue your own thing entirely? And I think that just depends on who you are. You'll find that a lot of people get to Oxbridge, Imperial, LSE, they get the best degree apprenticeships as well, because they're so driven to get it done. I personally would not do a degree apprenticeship because I want to go to uni, I want to do my own thing for a while. I think uni gives you the opportunity to do something massive. Like I'm sure that if you apply to like a Goldman Sachs degree apprenticeship, you could get it, because it's just like who you are. Like a lot of the people here could just do it, right? But you wouldn't be able to do your business. Ultimately, you just wouldn't, because like that career becomes your life project. So there's that. Yeah. The idea of like not going to uni, I think there are some students who would be better off not going to uni, but they are like the best of the best in terms of they are super high agency people. When I say high agency, they're just like they think like this. Here's my problem. Here's the solution. here's the plan for the solution, execute. And they just move at different pace. I met like one dude, his name's Oscar, shout out Oscar, and he's like that. He's the only one who could have probably been successful not going to uni. But I think uni is very important so long as you use it properly. And if you don't use it properly, don't blame the fucking institution. It's you. Blame yourself. And if you blame yourself for everything, you'll do better as well. Even though that's kind of unhealthy. But we'll get into that later. Yeah.
Yeah, I low-key agree with pretty much everything you said.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask is, do you think the culture at top university is kind of what amplifies these already driven people to achieve even greater things in the future? And do you think that kind of makes a small difference in the success you're going to achieve?
What culture though?
Like just like how driven everyone is.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, there's a big drinking culture.
That's true.
Is that what drives the students? You know what I mean? Like, if you went to like a random uni, there's going to be a top percentage of students who just want it more than everyone else. And if you don't go to a uni where there is like a lot of driven students, it should be your priority to seek out the students. You know, there's this quote by Carl Jung, and he says something along the lines of, if you do your work conscientiously and effectively, then hidden allies will seek you out. If you can't find people who are like that, you will. There are people, if you go to a uni that people take the piss out of, there are people who go to that uni who did get jobs in the best of the best investment banks. It's your job to find them and identify them, right? At Imperial, there may be a lot of students who are like that, but also there's a lot of students who, you know, they still do well in like academically, but they also get fucked up, man, honestly, like, yeah. So there is a culture, I guess, but it's really like overstated. And I do think a lot of people who go to the top unis make it their only personality, and they make it their only thing that they've got going for them because they don't have anything else. They don't have social skills. They don't have any type of charisma. They're probably chopped. And if someone, you know, the people who put you down, you know, you'll notice that they're ugly and horrible and no one likes them. And even that, you know, if an Imperial student puts you down, I promise you no one likes them, because like, it's just weird. Like, it's so weird. You know when people like go on the internet like slay Queen Mary, that shit pisses me off. Like, oh, if you don't go to a top 10 uni, you're cooked, bro. It's like the black pill for uni. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here, guys? Like, it's just so stupid. Like, it's your life, it's what you make of it. And like, let's say if it was true, like, if you go to like a uni that people take the piss out of, you know, I'm not gonna name any uni because I'm not a cunt, you know. But like, okay, fine, give up then. Go be homeless, or go do fucking nothing with your life. If you care about other people's opinions so much, you know, just do that then, you know. Is that like a valid answer?
Bro, that is like some of the most solid advice I've ever seen. And genuinely, I think like this is something that everyone needs to hear. Like, don't blame the circumstances, just blame yourself. If you put yourself out there, you put the work in, it doesn't matter where you're from or who you know, it's about how much more you're willing to go to achieve the things you want.
Yeah. And also, just like one more thing, obviously some people have like horrific things happen to them. Give yourself grace. I'm just talking about the uni you go to, right? Obviously, if you're like horrific, you know, you meet people and they have these fucked up things happen to them. Of course, you know, it's going to traumatize you. You're going to have like, you know, it's going to be peak. But the uni you go to is like, it's a privilege to go to uni. Even if the uni you go to is considered a meme, don't listen to people like that. And if you do listen to people like that and you really let it get to your heart, like, you are meant to be successful if you let that really affect you, you know. But give yourself grace if like your circumstances are horrible, but also try to get out of them as well. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there as well.
Yeah, just golden, straight gold. Another question. Can you explain, so you did a bit of UGC for Turbo, right? So yeah. Can you explain what UGC is and what is your experience working for Turbo?
UGC is like, I call it golden handcuffs, right? It's like, it's great, like you pays good, like you just have to produce one video every day, and once you get the hang of it, like you're getting a pretty consistent income, you know, incentives to do well, and you know, I'm selling you, it's like, yeah, UGC, let everybody do UGC, you know, but you know, you are selling your soul to an extent, like you're no one who does that shit believes in it. That's why I stopped working with AI brands. I don't believe in that shit, bro. Apart from ASI, like, you got Peter Thiel, pick up to Noosh, put them on the same boat. But no one believes in that shit. Don't do it, man. Honestly, the people who make that shit, don't believe in it either. They're just doing it so they can get a job in Citadel or like, you know, Jane Street product strategy. You know, that's what they want to do. Like, they're just doing it. They're using you. They don't actually care if they make any money. They just care about like clicks on their website so they can put it on their CV. You know, UGC companies are pretty sick. Like, they just want you to be consistent in posting, and you know, they're nice people. You know, you're just an employee of them. They don't really give a fuck about you, unless you're like, it's like a sales thing, right? Like, if you just get, you know, the average 5k views per video, you know, you're just an employee. But like, if you're someone who's like a heavy hitter and like, you know, like for example, one of my videos got like 300k views and I got like a £250 bonus, which is arse, by the way. Like, if you produce a 300k view video, you should be getting paid like a lot more. It was just like, because you're getting paid so regularly, they can afford to do that to you. But yeah, it's a good skill to have to learn how to do it, because it's definitely something that helped me in growth and social media, like engineering views. It like taught me a lot, because you will likely be mentored by like a marketing officer for the company, and if they're any good, like, you know, they give you like a handbook and they'll sit you down, they'll tell you, here's how you engineer a good video. That doesn't mean you're guaranteed views, but if you implement that into your own videos, you know, you're likely to do well. So what time is it? I'm so sorry. No, we're good. Other than that, my experience, I wouldn't do it again because, this is the thing, if you're an upcoming creator, it will take time away from you. That's why I'm sure UGC companies are probably trying to reach out to you or something.
Yeah, of course.
It takes time away from you to do what you want.
And build your own personal brand.
It's kind of like working a 9 to 5. You don't realize this until you start working a 9 to 5, but like it takes so much time out of your day, it's hard to do your own business as well. So people who like launch their own businesses whilst working a 9 to 5 are truly exceptional. Same with videos, you get so sick of just making videos, you know, even though like the last thing you'd want is just to become a UGC creator if you do have creative instincts. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yes. Yeah, really solid take. And last question, do you think your degree choice was optimal for what you want to do in the future, or do you think you wish you had chosen something else?
I think unless you know, for example, if you want to do like a vocational subject, like medicine is vocational, you know, stuff like that, you have to do medicine, right? Whereas other than that, do what you're interested in, because if you're not interested in what you do, there's going to be someone who is, and they're just going to outcompete you.
For sure. No one can beat someone who loves the game.
Yeah, I would recommend to anyone, even though like I talked about, it doesn't matter what and I never said it doesn't matter, I'm saying you shouldn't care. Try to go to the top uni, because financial generosity plus research plus culture plus ego is slightly kind of like ego.
Confidence. I guess it gives you confidence.
It's like money in the
confidence is important.
Yeah, all of those will just help you so much. Like, there's so much funding here and like so much just opportunity. It just makes life so much easier for you. So if you are in year 12 right now, really push to try to get into a top uni, and you know, you should low-key try to be going to America, high-key, not even like, you should try to go there. Other than that, go to like a top uni, because there's just so much help out there for you. I'm very happy that I'm here, and there's nothing, I told you, I couldn't think of one regret about coming to Imperial. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the thing about coming to top uni is that you meet such high agency people like on a regular basis, and I think it's really important for shaping your mindset at an early age. So yeah, I mean, you shouldn't care if you don't go to one, but you should obviously try your best to put yourself in the position where you do.
Yeah.
And genuinely, like, really interesting talk of it. Like,
very fun.
Like, there was straight gold dropped in some of your answers here, and hopefully the audience loves it. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. What's your plans for the future? Do you want to tell the audience, or we're going to keep it under wraps for a while?
What's my plans for the future?
Oh, you, how about that?
My plans for the future, yeah, just drop it here. Let's just drop it here. Oh
my god, exclusive!
I did do, a lot of people know me for getting a fair bit of bringing, going all in on the career stuff, but honestly, like, I hope no employer sees this, but my main goal is to probably go all in on building something meaningful, something that changes people's lives for the better, because I want to be remembered for having an impact on the world in a positive way. And I think the way that I can have the most impact is by building something that solves a problem for the people. And yeah, I think that's kind of my main goal. It's to build as many stuff as possible, as quickly as possible. And I don't mind if I fail, because I know the 3 years I have at Imperial, like, it's like I don't have much responsibility right now. There's no need for me to be worried about failing. I can take on as much risk as I want. So I'm using these 3 years to experiment and see where I can go. And hopefully we get there, and you see me achieving the success that I want to achieve.
Do you think you're going to stay with A-Star AI for the whole 3 years, or you're going to do something new?
That's a question. I guess
It's a controversial.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, you see.
Yeah.
I'll just say you see.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't answer that.
Cool.
Yeah.
This was a very fun interview. I enjoy it a lot, and I think what you're building is very value driven, and I think the right people are watching it. So yeah, I think it's very good. Very
Cool.
very much like
Shout out Kabir Studies. I'll link his TikTok in the description. And thank you.
See you
See you in the
later.
next one.
Bye.